Love to talk about the film or answer any questions in any way that you would like.
How many years in total did it take you to shoot it from beginning to end?
We first went to Crawford in early 2005, before Cindy Sheehan arrived in Crawford, and the film premiered at South by Southwest in March of '08, so about 3 years.
Did you have some 2000 footage though? I thought.
Yeah, we have a lot of footage, archival footage from the Crawford School District, from people's home videos, a lot of news footage, a lot of stuff. No, I haven't been working on it for 8 years. Impressive. Great foresight. No, about 3 years. The very first time we were there, my friend who's been a huge help on the film, Brian Smith, is here. He was there when we first walked into the coffee station at 5:30 in the morning, and there were a bunch of guys sitting around the table, and we walked in, and they all looked up, and it was like the needle had gone off the record. We made it forward from there. But I should say, Brian has a piece in Variety that has been the most popular story for 3 days in a row. Thank you. That's about some visits to the White House that started out being cool and got very uncomfortable.
I'll be holding a Q&A in the other room.
These guys are very proud. Other questions?
So that young man who committed suicide, what were the circumstances? Did he even know? Did his parent, was he still in high school? Like, he was really an intriguing topic, I thought. I was really rooting for him to go to UT Austin or something. It was just such a waste.
I was too, yeah.
It was a huge waste. Was there like a suicide note or anything about what kind of drove him there?
I found out, when I found out that Norma Nelson Crowe was shutting her store down, I thought, okay, well maybe here's the end of an arc, here's the end of the story, and so we got ready to go back to Crawford, and I called him and his phone was disconnected, and then I emailed the teacher, Misty Turbeville, because I thought she might have his information, and she sent an email back about 3 days later that just said everything that had happened, and in the same email said that she was leaving town. I don't think that he left a note. He was a year out of high school. He was taking classes at the community college right nearby, and it was very upsetting, very shocking. And I think in documentary film you have this, and you form both subjective and objective relationships, right? You make these relationships with people that are, you're thinking of them as a character, and you're in the editing room, and what's the arc of this person's story. On the other hand, there are these very personal relationships, and we really got to know, as you can see, a lot of the people there. So when those two things come together, it can be pretty intense. His birthday is January 20th. His mother wrote to me actually the other day. So yeah, he's sad. Yes.
How did you find the people you feature in the film, and have they seen the film, and what do they think about it?
Good question. We found most of them after that first visit, very early in the morning. Like, it's such a small town that every person really led to the next, and you know, we interviewed obviously and followed a lot more people. It began kind of winnowing as time went on. We sent DVDs to everybody in the film a couple of weeks before the South by Southwest premiere, right when we had the final cut. And that was a very scary thing to do, because you ask people for a lot of trust, you know, to take you into their lives and all that. And many of them came to the premiere, which was amazing. Crawford's about an hour and 45 minutes away from Austin, which happened to be where South by Southwest is. And so we had Misty Turbeville was there, the teacher. We had Bill Holmes, the guy with his pickup truck. He came after the film. I asked him what he thought, and he said, "That's the biggest picture of me I've ever seen." And Pastor Murphy came, and we were all very curious what he was going to wear to the premiere. He had an orange shirt and an orange hat. I mean, he came, and Ricky Smith, the guy that painted his horse up and everything, he had a wedding to go to. And he had said that to our assistant producer, and then he called me 2 days before the premiere, and I saw it on my phone, and I was completely terrified. Because we had had, I mean, this is a slightly separate story, but we had the last interview had been a little testy. We had we had gone up and we were running late. I said on the phone, he's like, "I'm about to give a mule a haircut." So we drove out there as fast as we could. We got there, and he had this mule tied to a fence, and he tunes these mules up to be so that you can hunt off them, so you can shoot off the mule. So we roll up and we're shooting because we're late, and he rolls up and he's like, "Check, bam!" And he pulls out a pistol and just starts shooting on either side of the mule. And the sound person's like pulling her earphones off, and he's just bam! See that he doesn't even move. Bam! Bam! And he's just firing this gun on either side. So eventually, like, we got him to sit down, you know, and like push the gun a little bit out of the frame. And he's sitting there, and I asked him. So I said something like, you know, it seems like the support for the war is waning a little bit. You know, what do you think about that? And he kind of sat back and he was like, "What's this documentary about anyway?" Like the gun right there. And immediately was like, "Tell me again about how you volunteered for the service after 9/11." And I like tried to get him. And at the end of the interview, it was the last one, and he said, "Well, I don't know how this documentary is going to turn out, but I do know my way to Austin." And so we tried to keep that in mind in the editing room. But he called. So he called, and I thought I was going to get lambasted. And he was like, "David Smith." He's like, "Well, you did a little bit of bush bashing, but now it's pretty even-handed all the way through. I think you done a good job." And that was amazing. And then he called the day after the premiere. He's, "David Smith, I just wanted to see how it went yesterday." And it was really amazing. And that was part of their coming inspired. We showed the film in Crawford in late June. There's a place in Austin called the Alamo Draft House. Has something called the Rolling Roadshow, which is a 50-foot inflatable screen, and we went and set it up on the football field there and got permission to do it, and we had like 400 people came out and all the characters were there, and we shot a whole nother piece which is on the DVD extras. We have DVDs, so you can get them and see what they all think, and that was cool because that was a goal to be able to do that and to show it in town. So sorry, it's a long story, but good question.
Over.
Bush bought a house in Dallas and will be moving there in 2 days. Are you going to go back to Crawford and kind of get the after story? Because it seems like that would be a great way to end a movie about him coming in just before his presidency, now leaving after his presidency.
I'm done with the movie. But, and I think they're done too. I mean, I think they had sort of reached their, I think he'll keep his place in Crawford as sort of a country weekend type home. But I think they really sort of got to, by the time when Jenna Bush was married there last spring, I went back and nobody was invited to the wedding, which has been nobody in town was invited to the wedding. So, I mean, I think they'd sort of come to they sort of come full circle. I think you can hear they're kind of ready to move on, but they will always be associated with him. They sort of can't, get past it. But I think things will quiet down some. There was actually there was an AP article yesterday or today, I think, that was sort of Crawford returning to normal after Bush leaves or something like that. And they told the whole story of the film and didn't reference it. Other questions? Yes?
What happened to Cindy Sheehan? She was such a big deal, and now no one heard it from her the last election.
The timing of all that was really interesting. You can see in one of the shots of the archival news footage, there's a little Katrina storm tracker, and that was August of '05, and they had a lot of momentum. I mean, she was really in the national media daily, and Katrina hit, and all the media picked up from Crawford and went straight there, and they were going to leave Crawford when he did at the end of his vacation in August and follow him up to DC and look to sort of expand the whole, kind of thing, we're waiting for you to talk to Cindy thing. And they were really sort of derailed by that, by the, the switch of attention. I think she then ran for Nancy Pelosi's seat, right?
In San
Francisco, yeah. And lost, I guess. So I don't know. I think she's sort of retired. I remember reading that she was very felt put off by the Democrats after their victories in '06 because they felt like far left had sort of helped elect them, and then they didn't go right in and end the war as best they could. That's what I've read. But, and as you see, she bought that piece of land and then sold it very quickly afterward. It turned out it was in the floodplain, which all the guys in the Domino Hall knew already. It's going to get filled up with water in the spring.